It's not simple to say. Most days won't recognize me. The pea shoes and this apron, that place and its patrons have taken more than I gave them. Twitch drops. I don't want Twitch drops. It's not easy to know I'm not anything like I used to be, although it's true I was never attention's sweet center. I still remember that girl. She's imperfect, but she tries. She is good, but she lies. She is hard on herself. She is broken and won't ask for help. She is messy, but she's kind. She is lonely most of the time. She's all this mixed up and baked in a beautiful pie. She is gone, but she used to be mine. Okay, what I was gonna do. Alright, that went in. Oh! Spam Jelly, you're here a tiny bit early. What's up, man? Am I on camera now? Ooh. That's not great. Blinding the camera with the projector. Well, hello, Peter. And of course, my alarm goes off at that moment, saying, "Hey, get on stream, dorky." I got the nose itches and eye burns. I got. What do you call them? What do you call them? What's the word for that thing? Hay fever. That's it. Well, what's good in the hood, internet? This is thoughtstorms. I started a little bit early today. Oh, I didn't restart either, so this VOD is going to have some extra stuff at the beginning, but that's alright. Boy, I made some clay that's made out of like paper fiber, and I don't know, I got it too wringing wet, so I've been kind of trying to let it slowly dry, and I think it's gone off, it's making a pretty unpleasant smell. Well, are things in big A-town, Piotr? Chincha? I didn't realize I still had that. We'll kill hot. Yep. I haven't been outside yet. I'm pretty sure it's hot. Hey Google, what is the current heat index?
Right now in Bedford, the heat index is 107.
Heat index 107 here in Bedford. I mean, whatever town it is in Texas that I dwell within. I'm gonna have to rearrange that projector a bit. Well, I have been trying to accomplish some things. Check this out. I can actually show you Krita or Krita, however it's supposed to be pronounced. I'm trying to teach myself how to use it. Oh yeah, there's an older artwork. I don't know when I made this one, but I pulled it up to explore here. I like it pretty well. Looks like a C. Oh gosh, I don't know what you mean. What was I gonna say? Oh, shirt I would buy. Heh. Yep, looks kind of like the shirt you did buy me. So yeah, really long ago, like 5 years ago, I paid for a lifetime membership in a service called Filter Forge, and it's great. It's Photoshop filters that you can program yourself. You can put a modular thing on it. You can put a purl-in noise. You can put in some transparency or do whatever. You know, there's all kinds of things you can do. And I really want to be able to use that again. And I would like to do some demos of how I make digital fine art like this on the computer. I guess I might as well go back to this. But I can't get the filters to install so far. Not even with AI's help. I'm going to change over to the, yeah. Give you a little progress report on some things. I have more than I did of this. And it's not holding together terribly well, and I'm having trouble getting the hot glue off. So I'm having to basically work a little bit at a time. And that's not very compelling streamage. So I'm going to show you some other things I'm working on. Here's a little bit more on the plague mask. I had some leftover stuff. And this is a 75-cent, nope, $1.25 thrift store buy. And I gotta say, I don't know how much this thing is retail. I have never seen an action figure, even a small one. This is like a full 12 inches tall, and you set it down on just about anything stand it up on just about anything, and it's going to stand there. It's amazing to me. So the idea is, I was going to take this celluclay and try to put a thin layer down on this and let it harden, and then peel it off and kind of make a cicada creature. You know how the cicada sheds its skin and you can mess with it. It's like a still an entire bug, even though it's empty inside, hollow. So yeah, I thought if I could make a hollow copy of this guy, and if I could make it look kind of like the drone figures in the TV show Westworld. I always try to say West Wing. So if I could make a standing figure in white air dry clay, I could try to sculpt it to look like one of those drones, because you can't buy them, because they're just the most compelling thing in science fiction in a long time. You know, it's funny you say that. That's almost true. There's no magnets. It's a weird thing to notice. It's also got a little more heft to it than a lot of toys. The articulation is only so-so. You know, has no elbows or knees, but even with that said, it's pretty good. The head, okay, I have a Linda Blair, but it doesn't have a face detail on it. The creatures I want to make, the drones, don't have any face at all. Not even eyeballs like Spidey Man. Let's see, I've told y'all about pentagonal dodecahedrons and how I've been messing with them for a very long time. This is G.I. Joes that would stand on their own when they're sober. Yeah, until we put firecrackers in them and blew them up. That was fun. I don't care who you are. Setting a G.I. Joe's arm on fire and watching the little flaming comets of melting plastic go down on the ground is just, it's a rite of passage that I fear modern kids aren't going to get to have. Here's that celluclay that I may just throw out. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's got a bad smell. I am very sensitive to bad smells. Project I'm working on. Not actively at the moment, but some idea of what might be in the works there. The pentagonal dodecahedron from back in the day. I got my camera to where it's not mirrored. Go out of that. Here is a piece of jewelry I made, Lord, many years ago. This would be 2003 or 4, and it's all made out of sheets of nickel metal. And it was for a class. I was taking a metals class, jewelry and other metals class, and I made this and was pretty proud of it, and showed it to somebody, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've got got some napkin rings like that. Really? Gosh. Wish I'd done that. What else have I got here? I look into your crystal balls. Woo! Which is even more fun with a dollar store laser pointer. Actually, it didn't distort it like I was hoping it would. I'm just kind of doing show and tell at the moment. What else was I gonna show? What else was I gonna tell? I feel like there was other stuff. Maybe not. Guess I haven't finished telling about this. This is the kind of plastic that you can heat up various ways. Coffee temperature, water would do it. This I did with a wood burner, and it somewhat charred it a little bit, kind of gave it a roasty color. So it looks kind of peculiar. And I had it too close to a light bulb. Yep. And that melted this part right here. Okay. There's several things I was going to hopefully try to do. I can't do a lot with this because I got to do a little at a time, and it's just kind of easier to think when I'm not streaming, at least until I can figure some things out. This proof of concept is proving that there's, I was trying to do it the lazy way without sanding or without even wire brushing or flame prepping the keycaps. Yep, on that base for the crystal ball. That's true. Right now I've got it on a 2-liter bottle cap. Although this, it's hard to tell, but it's not flat. It's tilted. It would probably still work. I'll test it. Nope. If I hadn't made it tilted, it would have. And by the way, I made this with it being a ring in my mind. I've got fairly big fingers, so I used to play the flute, and my flute was nickel plated, and for the project we had to drill holes in it, so I tried to make it look sort of like a flute on 3 sides. Not a sophisticated modern flute, but the older kind. Let me think about thinking about thinking. Just don't do that. Here's something. I had a nice guy once told me that I reminded him of Jay Leno, and I was a Jay Leno fan when he was the substitute teacher, when he would go on for Carson. I thought he was really funny, but man, I watched with interest the first 2 weeks of his once he took it over. And it wasn't just butthurt because he was kind of uncool to Conan and all that, but it just wasn't funny. Just wasn't funny. Anyway, here's something. Chalkboard Tableau Noir. Very thin, very light, very rigid. And this was $1. I bought this before they went up to Dollar Tree, went up to $1.25 tree. And if I could get this company to sell me large circles of this, or pentagons, or septagons, or triangles of this, I would love to use that for doing acrylic pours and other kinds of artsy stuff. Peter and I did a little of that a while back. Let's see. This show and tell is not my work. This is my brother's work. Spam Delay made this. And it's cool as hell. And it's round. It ain't no what you call rectangle. So yeah, I would like to do stuff like this on stuff like this. Especially because that seems like that's a low price material. So I don't know. I don't know where. If you're looking on Twitch, my logo on Twitch is a 7-toothed cog form. Oops. And I made that for an improv comedy troupe I've been planning to create for forever. Okay, I thought it was cutting off some of the next. What? Oh. Sorry. Somebody just texted me something with the word jelly in it, and I thought she was indicating that she was jealous of me, and she said, "I'm jelly." I'm like, "No, you're not. It's my brother." So I got confused. Well, I'm all over the map here. Oh, and I've always found it hilarious that, let's see, Apple had a piece of software and its logo was 3 cogs, interlocking cogs, you know, that were all interlocked together, 3 of them. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. Either the top 2 go like this and push the third one away. That's probably best case scenario, because if the top 2 go like this, they're going to try to chew up that third thing. Well, the main treatment I did for Brain Punk Theater was the brain shaped like a 7-point cog and a 5-point metal cog and a great big popcorn kernel. And if I ever could animate it, I would want it to go and crunch and destroy the popcorn kernel and have the pieces fall. I don't have a handy version of that to show you, electronic or real world. So it occurred to me that one thing I might give out as a thank you gift, a tote bag for my Patreon, patreon.com/thoughtstorms, would be oversized popcorn kernels. And I could make them out of this foam clay, which is air dry clay and really, really soft. I may try making my hollow Spider-Man form out of this stuff, but to do that I definitely feel like I need some kind of waxy buildup on the Spider-Man figure so that it will come off. Get a phone call. I'll call him back afterwards. Yeah. This stuff gets fairly hard. And these larger bits don't have the hand thing. These larger bits I've wrapped around balls of foil to save on clay. And they stay nice and lightweight. I'm hoping that once I make some of these popcorn kernels, I can get like a little fan that I can sort of make a laminar flow air thing so that I can have just a floating popcorn kernel just hovering in midair. But also make that available as a thank you gift for anybody who chooses to give on Patreon. On the subject of Patreon, I only created it. I created it in advance when I was unable to get my technology to successfully get me up and streaming. So I thought, well, this is one thing I can do. I don't love putting my hand out, but as I have already let it be known, I'm not naming any names, but I've got family members and friends who just can't stand to see me living under a bridge, so they help me financially, even though they probably can't afford to do so. They can't afford to do so in the amount that they do. And so if you have disposable income, and if you like some of my artwork and you don't necessarily want to buy any, but you'd like to kind of see me continue, and you're just going to throw a $20 bill on the sidewalk and walk away from it, throw it to Patreon. You can do 1 month and not and cancel. It's a way to give one time. Memberships and stuff on Twitch. I'm not monetized, and so none of that will go to me. Even if I was monetized, half of it would go to Bezos, and so no, I'm not pushing on that. I would love for you to subscribe on YouTube. That doesn't cost you anything, but it helps me. Subscribing costs money on Twitch, and even though you can do one free one a month with a Amazon Prime membership, like I say, it's not going to go to me. more trouble than it's worth. So Patreon is a good way to do that. I'm working up some other things. I've got a wish list from Amazon, some art supplies and tools I'd like to clap hands on. But the most important thing, I don't want anybody given a dime that they can't afford to throw in the gutter and walk away from it. If you can't set fire to whatever size banknote we're talking about and walk away giggling about it, don't send it to me. But if you can and you want to, awesome. That would be so great. You can be anonymous about it. You can and there's nothing that's available to you exclusively as a Patreon member yet. I may have some big popcorns or maybe some other things. I have the ability to make merch, t-shirts and including shirts with collars and what do you call them? Buttons and buttonholes that do the entire shirt. I'm planning on getting myself one for something to wear on stream and just wear around and all. I've always wanted to put one of my artworks on a shirt like that, and then I'd like to do that with a lot of them and make those available, and that's in the works, but at the moment it's not so much happening. And I have all kinds of tech in front of me, and none of it's telling me what time of day it is. It is 2:20. I've been on a little more than 20 minutes. Oh, man, I'm all over the map here. This stuff, if anybody knows somebody with the company Jot or with $1.25 tree, get at me, because I want to contact them and say, hey, sell me large ones of these. I've had ideas that need good, rigid, flat, lightweight substrate like that for a long time, and I still think that's a way to do it. The first one I got was a dry erase board in the shape of kind of a like a paddle at an auction, so you could put a big number on it, I guess, and use that at an auction. And then this is a chalkboard, which is kind of great because I like a nice black substrate anyway. I was just thinking that there's something I can do. Oh, one thing that I can do before I call it a day on this stream is try to put together some of these popcorn kernel pieces using nothing but the clay itself. The only thing we have to fear is clay itself. If you're working this stuff, you got to make sure it stays dry. I mean, doesn't dry up, doesn't stay dry. You can see it's very. Where's the camera? Oh, it's a little better. See, this is almost like chewing gum, although it's kind of lightweight and not so wet, and it doesn't stick to your hands and it doesn't smell bad. It's good stuff. It's expensive. I mean, yeah, it's expensive compared to other things, but it's lightweight. It's good and rigid. If you seal it, it can stay flexible like the kind of foam that people make suits of armor, cosplay type things out of. And so I'm gonna try putting some of these shaped bits on my monitor. There's too much light falling on this for you to be able to see that it's concave. There we go. If you ever look at a popcorn kernel while you're eating, they do be like that. And I'm just using a piece of it to stick it to a piece of it, and then finding my glasses and a ball stylus. It's a really small one. That one's still pretty small. Working those together, hiding the join as best I can. Last time I was in the hospital as a patient, this idea happened to me. The same time I accidentally discovered that Prozac wasn't working for me. I'd accidentally gone off my Prozac and was feeling a lot better, a lot more creative, a lot more motivated. And I was over the moon about this idea, this project. I haven't shared it yet because I feel like I share my ideas so freely that it's pathologically disappointing for people that I never do follow up and do anything with it. There's a book I read part of, Hamlet Principle, I think, and it's something to do with, you have a drive to get an idea communicated, and if all you do is tell people the idea and they go, oh yeah, that's a great idea, that takes some of the pressure off to complete the idea and actually show them the finished results. And so I don't know how I feel about that notion, but whether it's my damnable perfectionism or some other reason, motivation, getting going, getting off the damn bed is very difficult for me and for a lot of people. Another thing that I like is what do you call it? Slow motion video. Popcorn kernels popping in slow motion are badass. They expand, and it occurred to me that I might be able to figure out something to mix into this clay that will make it expand greatly. And I could pack it into the little small water balloons. You see the thing of the water balloons that you can blow up about like 100 of them all at once, and they end up being only about this size, or maybe a little about that size, but they start out pretty small. And I thought, if I could pack this stuff in there with some kind of baking soda and vinegar or something that will make it foam out, I might be able, excuse me, to simulate, maybe in a microwave oven, simulate a real popcorn kernel. And that if I could figure out a way to do that quite a few at a time, I could make enough to be possible to sell as swag and or give away to my patrons. So I've got a couple of pieces stuck on here. Dadgummit. Not sure how that looks to you folks at home. It's a little better now on my monitors. The reason popcorn kernels do that is part of them hold on to the outer husk, the kind of crunchy, thin layer on the outside, and it holds on to it, and so as it's expanding, it's pulled inside out, and it does these little puckers. Maybe you can see it better in that camera, I don't know. And so one of the things I thought was, before putting, yeah, that spray insulating foam, I definitely want to experiment with that. And with that, or with this, whatever I use to try to expand it, I'd like to put, stipple on, or maybe spritz on some glue so that the glue sticks to the balloon so that it actually forms kind of the way actual popcorn kernels form, but in a larger capacity. I feel like I put too small pieces on too large a main ball, and yet this one's just about too big for this one. But this will be a good proof of concept. I can see if just using clay as glue to stick the clay to the clay to the clay, wet clay to dry clay, or in this case dry, wet, dry. Yeah. That one might be good. I want to see what it looks like on camera. Oh, this one I actually put some foil inside of this. I haven't really messed with this project in quite a while. So my memory's not solid on it. Yeah, Peter, have you messed with that insulating foam? I really haven't. I've watched a lot of YouTube makers that make stuff with it. And you know, you can cut it after it's set up and everything. A lot of makers, I feel like, I don't know, they overdo it. They put a lot more in than they need, and then it comes foaming out around. So, kind of have a popcorn kernel. Kind of. I need to make them large enough that they don't just look like, dude, clean that popcorn off yourself. And it's occurred to me one thing I was going to test as well, which is to put some of this clay on the Spider-Man. So can you see? Cannot. Let's try this. I need to. Here. One moment, please. I need. Configure video. Take the brightness down. Because I need more light on the subject. So I'm going to try giving Spider-Man kind of a face mask here, like a facial at the spa. This stuff is great. You can squeeze it thin just with your fingers. And it doesn't fight you, so you can get it pretty thin. And if I can make this, I can do this and shape it to look like the drones while it's still wet. I could make really lightweight figures. And one thing I used to do in my misspent youth, we used to play D&D and some other games. I wasn't as big into D&D as my friends were until we started doing superhero stuff, and then I really got into it, and I made up a lot of characters. I ended up reffing, 40 fingers, and I came up with a lot of non-player characters, NPCs, and I would roll the 12-sided dice, these things, except nowhere near so gross, for the reaction. If you roll a 12, they are happy with what happened. If they roll a 1, they're not happy at all, and they're going to take your arms off. And so a lot of my villain characters that I needed to make in order for my playing characters to have someone to hero against ended up becoming heroes themselves, because I liked the idea so much, and I just never was good at the whole crime side of things, the whole villain. So I made dozens and dozens of superhero characters. Some of them are great. Some of them could absolutely holds up an Iron Man type movie franchise with the right writing and directing and all that, but not going to happen. And plus, some of them are so old. Some of them are 30, 40, 30, 35 years ago old, and as a result, people have made characters that have the same kind of powers or a similar look. I've seen a movie very recently that the only thing they used was a name. Long before I came up with thoughtstorms, the word paradox was my autistic fascination, and it still kind of is. My email address for a long time was paradox@poetic.com because I used to write poetry and was into paradox. And so one really great campaign that my friend John led was each of us playing one of our characters, one of our superhero characters. We got transformed into one of our characters, and I picked the name Paradox. So if you haven't encountered that name in superhero worlds yet, you will. Give it time. So I've laid a wet towel on Spider-Man's face. I'm gonna put this clay back in. It's don't want it to dry out. I wish I had one of those I'm drawing Grim Scythe. Who says Sasquatch can't climb trees? Yep. Here's quoting some great memorable quotes from our role-playing days. Yeah, we had a lot of good ones like that. That drives the shit out of me. Was it one of those games? Which I always thought would be a nice soft sell campaign for X-Lax. That X-Lax, it drives the shit out of you. Well, briefly, speaking of future endeavors, I'm going to have to teach myself to use this Krita or Krita. I am not willing to pay a monthly amount for a subscription to something I may not use but a couple of days. I'm not doing that. I buy the software, I use the software, it's my software. But one thing that I've done in the past was give lessons to people wanting to make artwork in a program like Photoshop or in this case Krita. There are a lot of free ones now. GIMP, I know a lot of people swear by it, they really like it. I've not had any luck with it. And I don't think it will work with my Filter Forge filters. But one thing I try to teach any of the people I give any computer graphic lessons to is anything you do more than a couple of times, learn what the keystroke is. Krita's got a cool thing. If you right click, it gives you a menu. You can change your colors. You can actually rotate the image, which I like that a lot. There's a lot of reasons that that's useful, especially if you're going to be kind of drawing with a mouse or what have you. Grumpy Mixon, John, I can't believe it. I got a brother from the same mother and a brother from another mother. Good to see from you. Sorry I didn't pick up the phone. I was already streaming. So, if you go to making things on the computer and you find yourself... by the way, John, Spam Jelly is Peter. You rehashing our hero days, yes. Peter, did you see I'm drawing Grimscythe and who says Sasquatch can't climb trees? Yeah. Well, John, the reason that came up, I'm trying to figure out a way to make lightweight models, basically copies of the Spider-Man form, so that I can let them cosplay as various heroes. I want the drones, the faceless drones from Westworld. I think those are the most compelling images in science fiction since Klaatu Barada Nikto. And you can't buy them. The guy who created the show and and also created the TV show of, oh, what's it called? It's based on the game. I can never think of the name of it. It's got the ghoul and the people that live in the vaults, the vaulties. Anyway, the guy who created that and co-wrote that great film, Memento. I saw an interview with him, and he had a form about this size, just like I want, but I suspect it was the art department brought it to him to get his approval on it. Discord makes me automatically feel like an Amish outsider in a broken down buggy. That's just an observation. I kind of always feel like I missed a century or 7. Just one of my micro essays that occasionally Nightbot will throw onto the screen. So yeah, if I can make copies of this, ultimately I would love to make Tyr. I would love to get a good figure like this, a mold for that, and pose him appropriately for a superhero character I had called Tyr, and then cast him in clear resin with a little translucent color to it. Let me see. Grumpy, I guess you're on Twitch as well. Otherwise it would be saying here. Okay, interesting. Why does my computer only lock up when I ask it to do something? For some reason, the Nightbot chat is showing up on the screen, but not in the chat. I'll have to figure that out at some point. I'm probably not doing a lot more. Hey, John, you haven't seen a lot of this stuff. Let me give you a quick tour. Here's a inexpensive mask that I am decorating with the self-hardening epoxy sculpt clay that I have left over when I am in the process of making. I was trying to stall while I found the thing. There it is. I'm forming inside this copper mixing bowl so that it will make a kind of a globe. And I'm working on that project, but 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. There's progress. And I don't know if you saw the lightweight clay food giants. That's a brand of grocery store. If I can make more of these, I might make them available to people that join the Patreon as kind of a thank you gift. It's kind of themed in with my logo and treatment and all for Brain Punk Theater. And I just think it would make a cool tchotchke. And I had the idea last time I was in the hospital, and I was almost having a manic thing because I had basically gotten all of the Prozac out of my system, so I was no longer even keel but bored, unmotivated. And but I searched, and I'm not finding anybody on Etsy or anybody selling large popcorn kernels, and I think they'd just be cool as hell on your bookshelf. Just how come you have a huge, a tennis ball size popcorn kernel on your bookshelf? 'Cause it's cool. Well, hopefully I can airbrush it. I've got an inexpensive airbrush that has its own built-in rechargeable tank of air. But I haven't used it yet. But hopefully I'll spray some yellows and such onto these popcorn kernels, and okay. I just lost it. Profanity is my love language. Ooh, what are you sharing? I don't know how to check that out. Let me. Okay, I see the image now. Peter sent me. I can't tell if that's the drones are not. It's not. Well, yeah, I think it is. It's not very high res. Listening on YouTube or Twitch, question mark. Got a message from someone saying that the volume or the stream keeps stopping. Now I've got stuff in the way so I can't see chat. And there we go. Let's get back to this. But yeah, that's the thing I'm wanting to make. Wow. Sorry, I've got ways to see chat without putting my glasses on and straining. Dad would have loved the fractals. Yes. Wayne, John's dad, is the one who showed me fractals. And if he'd show me, if he'd somehow managed to show me fractals back in the early 70s, I would have figured out how to get good at math. They are beautiful, and I've got lots of programs now. I've got programs now where I can put my geometric artwork in and have it kind of fractalize it. And I've had the ability to do that to a limited extent for quite a while, but there's a new thing in town that has really been yielding some nice stuff. I haven't made a little animation of a slideshow of my artwork to put on YouTube in quite a while, but I need to get. I've got literally. I have 10,000 of these images. Not 10,000 that are good. Not 1,000 that are good. But I've got more than 500 that are really good, and yet I've used the same slideshow since I've started streaming because I can't get any of those images to jump onto my laptop. Not directly. I can, I don't know, email them to myself or whatever, and it would be, you know, I'm disconnected from my own chat and I need to fix that. One moment, please. Speak amongst yourselves. Okay, new mobile app is here. I don't care. I don't care. Let me go back to where I was, please. If you're chatting and I'm not responding, I apologize. Well, I tell you what, it should not be this hard. As the actual person who is streaming to see his own stream. There we go. It is. I see Peter said it is. I don't. Alright, cool. Well, so I'm not probably doing a full length today. I've made a bit of a test. Popcorn kernel. Did a little bit of show and tell. Including, John, you didn't see this. This is acrylic. Oh, this This is an acrylic pour that Peter did. He and I were working together. He was doing a lot better than I was. There's lots of art forms. I wasn't a good glass blower, but I was a good glass sculptor. I wasn't a good ceramicist, potter. You know, I couldn't make teacups worth a damn, but I made cool sculptures. And apparently, acrylic pour is kind of like that. It's not a skill set. Anyway, that's one Peter did on a round. I can't. It's really hard to get it all on camera, but part of the show and tell from today. I don't remember why I said it is. I don't either. But ain't no thing but a chicken wing. Whew. So, Spider-Man has a hot towel on his mask. I'll get a chance to see Wolverine and Deadpool. It's good stuff. I went with my mandate. Your best medium was snow. That's nice of you to say. I liked sculpting snow, but I didn't like them knocking it down. But one time on choir tour on the beach near LA, I did a small sand sculpture like that too. I like sculpting whatever I can get my hands on, pretty much. Drones from Westworld. Yes. Yeah. It was kind of a low-res image, so when I zoomed in, I couldn't tell for sure. I just think those things are so cool looking. The fact that they didn't even give them a face. The actors walking around, they've got eye holes, but they're CGing over that. I just think that's really compelling, and I just want one standing on my shelf. I don't decorate much. I used to make jewelry. I never wear jewelry. I used to make artwork, and I rarely hang artwork in my house. I have some hanging in my house at this time. Right above there we go. The projector is an artwork I made a long time ago. And besides that, another. I don't know how well you can see it. So, how long have I been on this time? About $1.25, hour and a quarter. I'm not really, there's nothing I can do at the moment. I was sort of in the middle of showing that when you got to figure out how to do things in like a new bit of software like Photoshop, something you're going to do a lot of is rotate the entire image. And so you go up here and you find out what that was a bad choice. You scale image to a new size. You'll do that a lot. So you go up here and you see Control-Alt-I. Instead of clicking on that, you go up and find out what the shortcut is. Control-Alt-I, and you do that instead. Control-Alt-I, and you do that enough times, and you have it learned. That's one thing that I wish I had known when I was teaching myself Photoshop back in the reasonably late 90s. Most programs you can set your own. If something you do a lot doesn't have a keystroke, you can assign it one, and that can be very helpful too. Anyway, I'm all over the map. I'm talking about digital and clay and air dry clay and epoxy and Dungeons and Dragons, Westworld, all kinds of weirdness. But I think I'm gonna call it a day on this stream. I will be going again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Texas time. So you know, wherever you are in the world, it is 3:04 Texas time now. Friday and Saturday at 2 p.m. for the time being are my regular planned hours. I've done a little extra one late at night occasionally. But if you get a chance to drop back by tomorrow, that'll be great. And Wizard Watch. Some of you people don't know what kind of sense of humor our family got. But you'll learn as we go. So I'm gonna print this off here. I like saying something wise. Google ranked choice voting. That's as political as I get. Ranked choice voting. Borderlands on the 8th. I won't forget it. Grumpy and I have a standing mandate for that kind of movie. We went to see Wolverine and Deadpool on Monday. I've been saying it backwards, but it works that way as far as I'm concerned. Yep, I'll be seeing you there. So I'm gonna call it a day for the stream. Thanks for dropping by. It's good to have people to talk to, and peace out. Oh, I'm not even on screen anymore. And there it is. So yeah, come on by tomorrow. I may have more stuff I can work on, but I keep thinking I'll think of a saying that I like to sign off with, and I can't think of it. I love when a plan stops falling apart. Bye! And killing the mic.